Vijay, let me come back to you. Tell us a little bit more about the second suicide note. Apparently, it seems from the reports that we are getting that Geetika wrote a first suicide note, changed her mind and wrote a second one. What do we know about the other suicide note?
Rukmini, the two suicide notes that had floated earlier was the fact that there were two dates mentioned on the same suicide note that Geetika had written. Now, the sources have told us that both those suicide notes seem to have been written on the same date, and in continuation, sources have also told us that it is possible that the same pen was also used to write both the suicide notes, and the presence of the other date could just be an error, and nothing more should be read into it. So, definitely this will give police some sort of an insight into what might have transpired hours before Geetika committed suicide, and it might help them build up a strong case against Gopal Goel Kanda.
All right. Let me, in fact, go across to Senior Supreme Court lawyer Majid Memon, who joins us on the phone line. Mr. Memon, if you have been tracking the developments of this case, which is increasingly complicated, the latest is that Geetika wrote two suicide notes. We do know that the one that was made public names Gopal Goel Kanda and Aruna Chadha as having driven her to a suicide. That is something that the cops have been basing this entire charge of abetment to suicide on. How will this go forward in terms of strengthening their case against Kanda at all?
Now see, first question is that if two notes are found, then the investigating agency will have to ascertain as to whether the authors of both the notes is the same person. Number two, you will have to also find out that how far apart from first to the second note is. Whether it was written at the same time, on the same day, or was written after a lapse of certain period. Number three, and they will have to also ascertain as to when there was already one note which expressed, you see, the detailed feelings of the person ending life, then what was the occasion or need for having second note? And number four, that the contents of the first note and the contents of the second note will have to be read together or compared so as to find whether they are consistent or inconsistent, contradictory or corroborative. So these are all questions that are required to be examined by the investigating agency with a very professional approach. And it is a later stage after they, derive whatever light or guidance from these notes which may lead them further in the matter of investigation. And it is only later that the courts would also examine both the notes and then see what ultimately turns out from the contents.
All right, Mr. Memon, thank you very much indeed for joining us.